Hey, what's up, everybody? We are live. Oh, now we're live. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another evening with Eskel. We're on episode 82, I believe. Hope you all had a great week. I'm just going to share some of the same stories I shared in my TikTok live. I finally started going live on TikTok, and it was a lot of fun. And I got some feedback on just some of the encounters I had this last week. And this week, for me, has been up and down. It's been a total roller coaster. And the difference between my lowest lows this last week and my highest highs have been so dramatic that it got me just like thinking about how crazy, like, not only my life is, but like the people that I encounter. And I used to always just be like, oh, it's because I was raised in a cult. I'm the weird one. I don't know how to handle certain situations. But this week, I have proof and evidence that it's not just me. I had some strange encounters this week, and we're going to talk about all of them. So I'm excited for that. So buckle up. Let's get into it. I just want to make sure I can see you guys' comments. But welcome. Welcome, everybody. Hello, Denise. Hello, Val. Pumpkin spice latte. Welcome. I hope you guys are ready for some wild stories. Because this week, ever since I've been like just doing so much more stuff, I haven't even like had to try to think about certain stories or encounters to share in my weekly lives. Because there's so much happening now. And I think that's just in life, with life in general. If you're just constantly doing stuff, you're going to run into some of the craziest things and just weird stuff's going to happen that, yeah, I don't even really have to like write them down anymore. It just is always happening. And it's like I constantly am replaying these encounters in my head, and they just get funnier and funnier or scarier and scarier. Because this week, so my lowest low, I want to start with the sad part of this last week so that I can have something happy to talk about later. But I got in a little bit of a car accident, and it was like super stressful. It wasn't anything super bad, but what made it so like extra bad was that it was with a company truck, right? And I'm just driving. I'm constantly hauling supplies and different things around. And for this one, I had a really heavy load. And so I just pull out, not even thinking about it, and then just ram right into the back of my truck. And instantly I'm thinking of like a million things that could have happened. Someone could have crashed into me, all this stuff. And so I just put it into park, run outside of my door, and like running around the whole truck and trailer looking at what happened. And turns out the trailer popped right off of the connection to my truck and just swung right into, and the trailer was super heavy. It had concrete and like just really heavy supplies in it that, like, even though it was only the distance of like 2 feet, maybe 3 feet, it rammed into it. And I was like stressed out and like freaking out and like running around the place. But I feel like I did pretty decent under pressure, and I was able to get it taken care of, and I was super happy about that. I finally calmed down, got back into my truck, and everything was good. And dang it. Now I feel like I'm missing parts of the story, but it doesn't matter. My job, one thing that I really like about my job, though, is that I'm able to, kind of have different encounters like this, and I'm learning from every single one of them. So, oh, shoot. Yeah. See ya. I'll talk to you soon. Okay, yeah. So, a big part that I was missing in the story is, as stressful as it was, going through the accident, having to reattach the trailer and everything, what was even more stressful, you guys, was when I had to call my boss. Because it's one thing, to like have to stress about letting the cars go by on the street and people are honking and you're causing traffic and all this stuff. But then having to call up your boss and be like, man, I scraped up this nice company truck. I ruined your truck, basically. And that, for me, maybe because of my social anxiety, maybe because I don't know what it was, I feel like, though, I handled the actual crash itself way better than I handled the phone call with him. Because one thing with me, and I've learned this, like the older I get, the more and more I realize that I express myself to people like way below what is like the expected reaction. And so when I called him up, I was just like, I didn't know how else to do it. And I'm sure there was like, most people would have done it differently, but for some reason I just was almost like, I didn't laugh necessarily, but I was like taking it way too calmly. And I just called him. I was like, hey, this happened, this and this. Like, I'll send you pictures of the damage. I was able to take care of it. And like, we're good now, but all this stuff happened. And he, like, his reaction was way up here, you guys. I was shocked at how just like upset he was and angry he was, and like just going on and on about how that's not supposed to happen, how I need to be more careful, and how like that, like, it's the company vehicle, and like we need to be more careful, all this stuff. And of course he mellowed down and everything got better. And like, I love my boss. He's really cool. Like, we get along. Everything's great. And everything's good now. But the contrast between my like underreacting to the situation and his initial reaction was so extreme that I started to like kind of wonder if like I just thought about it a lot, right? And I think that maybe, like, I don't know, you guys tell me if you've ever encountered anything like this, but sometimes I wonder if because of there's so many things in my life that like is all over the place, you know, I'm always running into ups and downs throughout my life, that, you know, when some of these kind of dramatic, not super dramatic, I wouldn't say, but, you know, like crazy things happen that compared to a lot of other things in my life, I guess they don't seem as big of a deal. So my reaction to them isn't what most people would react to them. And so a part of me wonders if maybe my boss, just like his life is so chill and mellow that like things like this just really surprise him, I guess. Or I don't know. That's just what my thought was as I was thinking about this encounter this week. And it was definitely, you know, it was one for the books. I don't ever want that to happen again, but also I feel like it went decently well. Like, everything's good now, so I'm not going to worry about it. But something else that was crazy that happened this week, and I still am a little bit unsure if I'm just like reading the situation wrong or not, but it's just weird. I know that people are weird. I know that I've had weird encounters, but this one was just so recent and fresh that I'm just like, I mean, maybe I'm the one making it weird, I guess, but I don't think so. Anyway, so all that was happening is I was just chatting it up with a bro, right? And we were just broing out, chit-chatting, talking, and just enjoying being outside. And I'm like asking him questions because this guy's like super interesting, and like he has like a very fascinating life, and he's been through some interesting like life experiences, and he moved around a lot and traveled a ton, all sorts of crazy cool things that he's just telling me all about it, and I'm super fascinated in it. But then I noticed, like, as we're having the conversation, like, I'm like super engaged, right? I'm locked eyes with him, and mid conversations, we're still talking back and forth from each other. He turns to the side and just starts peeing on the ground. And I'm just like, for a split second, I'm like, there's no way that's happening. Like that something else is going on. And so like, I kind of like tilt to look past him, and he like leans further away from me. He's like, whoa, don't be weird. And I'm like, what, me? I am not the one being weird in this situation. Like I was like trying to maintain eye contact with it to be respectful, but I was like, what the fuck, man? Like, is this really happening? Is this not weird? Like, I don't know how to react in that situation. And I'm just like, in the moment, I just didn't know what to do. I was just, okay, just kind of like let it happen. And we continue the conversation like nothing happened. And I was like, okay, I guess, you know, we're just a couple of dudes, so it's only weird if you make it weird, I guess. I don't know. But, yeah, that just made me think of how weird the encounters can be sometimes. But people are weird, though. So I'm like, I always got to give it a little bit of that, like, take everything with a grain of salt. Because I'm like, the world we live in, you never know what to expect. And, you know, there's so much variety to what can happen that you almost just got to, like, not worry so much about it, you know, like, just don't, it's not weird, I guess, if you don't make it weird. I don't know. But no matter what happens, like, there's gonna be things that like will stand out and like will be weird to me, but I always have to second guess and wonder if that's like weird to just regular society or if that's just me in particular. Because I even think about like when I post, you know, I get lots of social anxiety when I'm posting things, because I'm like, to me, I might be making a video and it's just like totally normal. But so many people can interpret it in different ways, or it could be like super weird to some people. So I always feel like I have to be a little bit careful about like, you know, how I not only like what I'm trying to get across or what I'm saying, but just to make sure that it's coming across the way I intend for it to be. Because I personally have noticed that, like, if I am not very conscious about what I'm saying, then it can sound like I'm like being super upset or maybe super offensive or a completely different way than I intend it to be. But if I'm just conscious and like actually like put a lot of thought into what I'm saying, then usually I can get the message across that I'm trying to. But it always just depends. What else though? Oh, in that same way with my post though, I still got so like completely red in the face and like felt this sense of like, oh no, people are gonna make fun of me when I first started posting on TikTok. And I was like so new to it that I wasn't quite sure how it all worked. And so I found out like a whole month after I had posted it that one of my videos I posted was actually the rough draft to the TikTok I had intended to post. You know how like with a lot of TikToks, then you kind of like practice or like you get all of your stutters and things out and your frustration out of whatever the video that you're filming and gonna make before you actually film the official real one. And you know, when I'm going through the rough draft, it's extra hard and it's extra stuttery and just rough that like I tend to swear a lot. So in the rough draft, I was like cussing up a storm, swearing way more than I normally would in the video that I'm actually going to post. But I ended up posting that one full of swear words. And I didn't know for like 2 months. I finally went back and looked at it and I was like, oh my gosh. I'm trying not to let it bother me, you know, but you know, it's when you accidentally post something you didn't intend to, then it's just a little bit awkward. But I try to like, you know, I'm okay with people seeing like what I look like when I'm frustrated. So it doesn't bother me too much, but it's just the fact that I didn't mean for that to happen. It's just kind of like, you know, you get that little awkward, embarrassed moment of it. But it actually got a lot of views and people liked it. So I was like, okay, maybe people like that side of me, I guess. I just got to get more frustrated more often. I don't know. But let's see what you guys are saying here. Wow, sorry. I just went on a rant there. I need to chill. Whew, take a little deep breath here. I know. I'm going late, way later than normal. But what's up, the good Karen? Oh, man. Yeah, all the Karens out there that are actually good and nice people, I'm sorry. I feel like society has hurt the Karen name for sure. But what's up, Steven? We got Denise, Val, Sarah, Pumpkin Spice Latte, Sacred Secrets. Ooh, that's a cool name. Todd, how's it going? Hello, I didn't get the notification. Huh. Yeah, sometimes YouTube forgets to notify. I haven't gotten one of Val's notifications yet. I turned them on, but I don't know what's up with YouTube. And we got the good Karen. The good Karen, are you new to this channel? This is the first time I feel like I've seen you. Welcome to where we talk about all things culty. Now, I've been getting in such a swing of things with my lives that I rarely ever talk about like my actual background, like catch people up to date, and refresh anything. So I wanted to this live just share a little bit. Just like a really rough draft, but I'll probably get it after the live. Yeah, that's gonna be pointless, but sometimes YouTube will do that. I get like the first notification I get for Amanda's is usually the group chat one where it's in something with don't remember what it's called, but I just gotta look up the name really quick because we have this really cool thing with Discord. Discord's got this little automated notification called Dino that tells me every time she goes live, so it's kind of nice. But I get that one, and sometimes I'll get the YouTube notification saying Amanda Ray's channel's live, but I always get the Discord one, so it's nice. The good Karen says, yes, I'm new. I've been following Amanda a little while. Nice. Well, welcome to the channel. I try to make mine a little bit different from my sisters because we talk a lot about our experience escaping a polygamous cult. And she actually has this like thing where she's going through all of the leaders and what they call numbered men in it. And so hers is really like, I think of hers almost more like not like a history channel, I guess, but more it's like got a lot of like facts and like information and data from the actual cult itself. She'll like talk about the numbered men, what their roles are in the church, and what kind of significance the cult puts on these numbered men and stuff like that. And so what I try to do is, my goal in mine is I tend to get a little bit like in a grumpy mood when I talk a lot about the cult and like, the abuse or the creepy, real and like sad things that happen in the cult that I grew up in. So what I've been trying to do recently is just kind of like use these lives as a chance to kind of like talk about my real life experiences of adapting from a cult like brainwashed little boy to actually going out and exploring the world and encountering people and running into other cults even, and meeting other people that have ran away from abusive parents, and my journey going along all of that, getting a job out here in the real world, experiencing running into crazy and weird people, and just having the strangest encounters you could ever imagine, and just dealing with stressful things. That's kind of like what I try to do with my life. Just talk about the like wholesome, but also, the sad and crazy aspects and parts of working through all of the brainwashed mindset that I grew up with into my day-to-day life that I have now, and all the different experiences I have, and the amazing, cool, fun adventures as well that come with that. And so that's kind of like where I'm trying to shift mine. And I love telling stories as well. I do like a little bit of a review of the Escaping Polygamy series. And for Halloween through the month of October, I want to do something where I can like tell like creepy, scary stories, or kind of like dive deeper into the cult aspect of it just a little bit. But yeah, I think for me, it's just a side hobby. I just do it for fun. I enjoy telling my life experiences, just like being really down to earth and chill with everything here. So that's kind of what I do. And I love answering questions. One of my favorite videos that I did was with my sister Amanda, where we talked about the different perspectives of her being a girl growing up in a cult and her experience of running away versus me being a guy growing up in a polygamous cult. Like it's very different because they have completely different roles. They're very old fashioned. So I feel like we were treated quite a bit differently, even though we were in the same household, and we kind of got to see things from a little bit of a different perspective. So it's been really interesting being able to like do videos with her, to share different stories and experiences. And also, I guess what's the most interesting for me, because it's so like in the present moment happening in my life, is to see how our different reactions are to like things when we run into them out in the real world, right? When we both experience, getting jobs in the outside, meeting new people, dating, and going through, just different life experiences. It's so fascinating to me to see the way that she reacts to things and then compare them to mine. Like in one of our lives that we did together, we went off on this just crazy debate about what dating should look like, and comparing and contrasting the like type of dating style that the polygamous cult has, and the people kind of like do their courting and dating inside of the group, versus how we've kind of like we've been experiencing dating on the outside, but we've still been running into lots of bumps on the road, been trying to figure out, what is the best way to make someone feel comfortable and to properly date, and just to transition from the cult mindset to actually being able to be more fair and equal, and just to like be more open and express ourselves, and not to feel like so judgmental or like we have to be secretive and stuff like that, and just to balance all of it. Because one thing that I always share is that I don't want it to ever seem unfair for someone that I encounter with in just throughout my life, that it's like could feel unfair that they how do I explain this? For example, like if I'm dating someone, I don't want to put this pressure of them being like, oh, they're dating someone from a cult, or like they're dating someone that doesn't know how this outside world works or whatever, I want to be like as open and straightforward as I possibly can be. And so I even have a rule of thumb for myself that like if I'm dating someone, then by the second date, I have to tell them my backstory. So for one, just for me to get everything off my chest. And for two, I would never want it to seem like I'm being sketchy or like trying to hide my cult background or something like that. I like to just get it over with, get it all on the table so that they can see and know, like, if they're willing to go through the craziness of dating someone that left a cult and all of that. So that's a little about me. Let's see what they're saying. I get the Discord notifications first too. I know Discord's so good about that one. I like that. I think that's awesome. But yeah. What else? Yeah. I just think that we got to get more people to like share their stories too, because as different as even Amanda and I like share our different perspectives, and there's a lot of similarities because we have grown up with the same parents, similar experiences and stuff, but there's still a dramatic amount of differences that it's like, I want to be able to share more perspectives from like all sorts of different views. Just like how like, I can't get over the fact that like, hearing even like Michelle's story or Allison's story or different people where they grew up in the same cult like that Amanda and I grew up in, but even for them it was so different because their dad had way more wives than what Amanda and I's dad had, and they had like way more siblings or way more different like courtships, or people propose to them or try to marry them or different things like that, so all sorts of different perspectives. And one thing that I've noticed, just like moving and going, like experiencing new things on the outside, is that I run into people that have similar experiences that like, it's really hard to get them to share. People are always a little bit camera shy for sure. But like, even if I just were to like share some of their perspectives or their ideas, I think it could be really fascinating because there's so many different cult-like groups or lifestyles that are out there that I think there's just, there's so much that can be learned from it. And so many people have like interesting stories that can show like how they overcame what they went through, and most importantly how they were able to grow in a positive way, because there's lots of examples out there that are like, oh, my parents were abusive or my parents were alcoholics and it doesn't go well. We clearly know that that's not the best lifestyle or home to raise a productive, successful children in, right? But my favorite thing is to hear someone that like was able to overcome that, and they have like tidbits or really good information to like take something that was really hard that they went through and to make it positive in a way, and to grow from it, and to make it just like more motivational. And I love that because I feel like everyone goes through this, and I hate talking about all the sad and depressing parts, but like, life sometimes gets so mundane. I've had some weeks where I'm just like, I don't even want to talk about anything because it's just been so damn boring, And it's like, I need to be more excited. I need to be more creative. I need to, be that motivation that I need in my life to just have more fun with it. Make life more exciting. I mean, life's exciting no matter what. Life's always a roller coaster, but it's like if you don't take the time to notice that and enjoy it, then you're going to be the one missing out. So, yeah. The good Karen says, I am fascinated by cults and appreciate hearing your stories firsthand. Nice. Yeah, it would be really cool to be able to like dive deep into like somebody's mind that is fairly new to like watching our channels or hearing our stories, and to figure out how to narrow down the stories and the life experiences that we've had to be able to cultivate. Like, I want to create a video that like shares my upbringing and some of the major points of growing up in a cult and the transition from being raised in a cult to living on the outside. But I don't really know what parts to focus on, you can't, it's not possible to have a video long enough to share every little detail and to go over every single aspect. But yeah, it's hard to know what parts are going to be the most beneficial, what parts of my life experiences stand out the most and are going to actually engage people and not just feel mundane or boring, but because I just don't know. It's like I tried to tell someone, like have a conversation with someone about prom or like See, I don't even know the names of the dances that people have in high school and the different high school experiences because I've never had them, you know? And so it's very interesting. It's hard to know what aspects of this type of upbringing is going to be interesting to someone hearing in on the story when you haven't lived the life of someone that just grew up in a normal, well, nobody has a normal one, but you know, in a non-polygamous upbringing. Let's see. Steven says, Discord tells me before, then I freaked you out once. What? Stephen Brown. Discord tells me before, then I freaked you out once. Oh yeah, Stephen, I think the reason why I got freaked out is because sometimes, I don't know how this happens, but sometimes before I even click the go live button, then certain people will be messaging me about my live. And I'm like, there's something, I mean, it's not just anyone. It is always people that are like, I think it's either in the Discord or something, but there's some way when people get, have a certain notification turned on, there's a few limited people that somehow get notified even when I start creating the live. When I begin the process of like, you know, putting the title in and getting things ready, there's a few people that get notified about that and they know about it and they're able to message me about it. And I mean, it's kind of cool, but I don't fully understand it yet. So yeah, sometimes it creeps me out. What's up, Flinker Mary? Welcome. We're pretty close to the end of this live, but I basically just want to share my week's experiences this week, and yeah, just keep you guys updated for future ones. I think I want so bad to find a way for more people to share their weird weekly encounters, though, because I enjoy sharing mine, and I feel like I run into lots of weird stuff, but I don't have anything to compare it to, you know? I want someone else to be sharing their weird stories, you know? Because I get this feeling that it's like, once I share mine, then that's it. I don't know what else to talk about because I want to be able to compare and contrast with someone else. And I want to be able to like dissect them and analyze them, you know? Because to me, I go through the experiences and that's all I have to base it off of. Like, this is my life. This is the weird things I'm going through. But I don't know how weird it is, you know? Is everyone going through weird stuff like that? Do all of you guys as friends pee right in front of you? Like, I don't know. I don't know what to compare. I don't have much contrast to compare it to. So yeah, I definitely want to find a way to either do combined lives. Like, it's really fun to do it when, even though Amanda's like in a whole nother state, we can do a combined live and she can like virtual join the live and we can bounce our weird experiences off of each other. I think that would be a fun way to do it. Or I'm just going to start inviting anybody. Like, it's shockingly hard to get people to want to be in front of a camera. And I get it. Everyone's a little bit camera shy at first. It's like, become so normal for me now that it doesn't even faze me anymore, but I could see how it's still tough for some people. But there was one time, like, I thought for sure I was going to get lots of people to just like interview or to just want to share their stuff because I just did a big announcement and I invited everyone on my Patreon. I was like, anyone on my Patreon, I know like all the names on my Patreon. I know everyone so well, like well enough that I feel like I know you guys personally. Everyone on my Patreon and the ones that like are on my weekly lives every single week, I see their names. I've like messaged them all. I've talked with them so much that it's like I pretty much consider them good friends. Like, I know them personally. And so I sent out this like invite to anyone that wants to like do a virtual interview with me or just chit chatting, like tell fun stories or just to be in one of my videos, right? And like so many people were like, oh, I want to, but I just can't, you know, like everyone's nervous. It's interesting. And so it reminds me of my very first time. You can go back. You can go all the way back to my very first live ever. And it was just a bunch of, I don't know. Like, that's basically the whole live. So I definitely know the feeling, but I don't know, the more you do it, the funner it gets and the easier it becomes, and it just is more chill. And I think it just becomes more down to earth. And since that's like what the aim is with these, because like I love my Escaping Polygamy review videos. It's super cool to be able to like dissect the video, and it's a lot more like punctual, like straight to the point, like really diving deep into specific topics. But in these lives, it's just real, you know. I just love being able to dive deep into what goes on in my mind, what type of weird encounters that I have, and why I even perceive them the way that I perceive them. And that's exactly what I'm trying to create, you know. So I like it. I am following Val too. Are there any other X Order members you recommend? Let's see. Man, yeah. Trying to remember them on the spot is hard, but I know that there's more. There's definitely more. I'll have to get back to you on that one. There's a lot of people with channels. Like, you'll see Michelle comment in a lot of these videos. Michelle's been on some of Amanda's videos. Allison, there's other people, but I don't think they have their own channels necessarily. I'm sure they have like Instagrams and other things though they're sharing updates on. Like Michelle, I follow Michelle and Allison on Instagram, and they always post things about their kids, and they're really fun to keep up to date with what they're doing and stuff. So those are fun ones to follow for sure. Flinker Mary says, I don't love cameras. Yeah, I'm realizing a lot of people don't like having a camera on their face, which makes sense. Don't blame you. Todd says, I work from home, so my interactions happen in conference calls. I don't think anyone cares about that. Yeah, see, that would be a whole different kind, because that's like texting, or even in the comments, you know, like when people just, you know, send a text message, or I guess it's just called a comment or something on some post or a tweet or something. It is so much easier to just take it out of context, you know. You don't know what they fully intend through that text, and you can interpret it in so many different ways that sometimes I feel like that makes it weirder. It can make the encounter like way more strange, especially with typos. Typos can completely change the conversation and throw you off. And it can make things very difficult and very awkward. So that's why I like real life, human to human, face to face interactions are my favorite. If I can't do that, video calls or Zooms are pretty great too. But even then, I feel like it's just not as authentic. I like meeting people in person. It's my favorite. But yeah, with our day and age, technology gives us a lot of opportunities for sure. So I totally understand. But sweet. Well, anyways, I don't have a ton of time. I'm probably going to have to end this one here, but this was fun. Feel free to shoot me any messages if you have ideas for fun October videos. We got October coming up. I'm already posting, reposts of Halloween content on my Instagram, because I have lots of like reminders going up telling me that, like, oh, I liked this Halloween video last October, and so I reshare those. Jackie Lopez says, I wouldn't mind talking about my life, but I got no time. We got to make some time, Jackie. We can have a good conversation and bounce some ideas off of each other. I think it would be fun. I want to get to know some of you guys on a deeper, more personal level. Know all of your secrets. Todd says, I don't like having too much out there because there are people out there looking for dirt, like insurance companies. Yeah, but do you really want to live paranoid about that? I used to think about that. I'm like, oh, I got to make sure I don't ever say anything stupid on the internet ever. I'm like, wait a minute. That means I basically can't ever post anything. Like, you're bound. There's always going to be something you say that, like, can be misinterpreted. Especially, you know, a lot of celebrities run into this problem where if you just take a tiny little snippet of one little video or one phrase that they say, you can make them sound like they're saying something super horrible, you know, because you take it right out of context. But the reality is everyone is going to say things that might be contradicting or might be slightly offensive, or, you know, will make someone maybe like them less or something. But I think the goal is not to just try and please everybody. You're never going to really get your message across, and you won't be able to be passionate about it, you know? If I had to just always be like, super vague about everything to make sure I never offend someone or never say anything that could upset anyone ever, then I wouldn't be able to talk about anything super serious. I'd have to be very vague, and I couldn't have any passion about anything. But to me, I think it's more important to cultivate the audience that has similar views, has similar beliefs, and is okay with the fact that we're going to disagree on different things. The goal is to be able to learn from each other and to be able to have these discussions to widen our perspective, so that we can better understand why someone might have that viewpoint or have that belief system. Because my goal isn't just to be right. I don't even care about being right. I just want to better understand why I believe the things that I believe and more firmly define what my beliefs are, so that I can just be more conscious about the life that I'm living and who I am as a person. That's my end goal. And I feel like it's not going to help if I'm constantly avoiding expressing who I am, or if I'm not, taking the time to get to know people and other people's beliefs. And so at least, my way of thinking is I want to interview as many people as I can. I want to dive deep into other people's minds and get their understanding so that I can kind of add that to my, my knowledge that I have, and it helped me make my decisions. But because it's also like similar to just talking to old experienced people. They're going to have so many different life experiences that we're probably not going to have for years to come, that being able to bounce ideas off of them will help you to be not only like better at seeing different perspectives, but I feel like it would make you so much more understanding for other people's life circumstances that are going through things that you could never even imagine that someone would have to go through. If I'm ever involved in a lawsuit, it can be used against me. I can see that. Yeah, I'm no lawyer. I don't know what to say on that, I guess, but just you do you. Yeah. That's interesting, but do you journal at all then, Todd? I feel like if I didn't do these like therapy sessions on my weekly lives every week, then I would just find some other way to like journal or do voice recordings or something to like get everything out on my mind and to remember a lot of these interesting life experiences. So this is just my own way of journaling, I guess. I think it's fun. I like it. So if you enjoy listening to these, if you want to keep on having these discussions and enjoy participating in the comments, definitely like and subscribe, because we're going to go live every single week, and I post random videos here and there. I have no consistency to my posts anymore because life's been crazy, but I'm going to keep it going. So this should be fun. Okay, I'll read the last comment and then we'll call it a night. But thanks to everyone who's been participating and who joined the live. The Good Karen says, once I catch up on your videos, I may learn, but I'm interested to hear why you left the LDS church. Ooh, yeah, that's a fun one to dive into. I could do a whole video on it. I'll do a really quick, short answer because I talk about this a lot and I don't have a super definitive answer. I think even going through and like organizing all my thoughts on this will help me once I'm creating a video on it. But long story short, I really felt like I joined the LDS church because it was a very good transition for me from leaving the fundamentalist Mormon polygamous cult to joining the modern day LDS group, because it kind of gave me this transition time period to where I didn't go from a completely structured life and all these rules to absolutely everything and anything I can do, right? I still was able to go to something that was moderately structured, still had a decent amount of rules, but not quite as extreme, right? And so it was kind of a coping mechanism for me, and I don't regret it at all. Like my LDS mission was one of the most amazing and most fun things I've done in my life, and so I don't regret it at all. I really enjoyed it. I learned a freaking ton from it, and it's a part of why I'm way more social, because of my mission that I served and had to just talk to like a million strangers all the time, and it really opened me up a lot, and I'll never forget that, I appreciate that a lot. The only thing is, and technically I still have never left the LDS church. I don't have any like bad feelings against it, or I'm not like bitter against my LDS experience. My LDS experience in like almost every aspect has still been a good experience, but I just don't want to give the false impression that like I've had a spiritual experience, or that I believe the LDS church is true, or like their teachings is 100% true, because I just don't know. I'm agnostic, and I feel like since I've been able to really self-reflect and question myself and understand myself on a deeper level, I know that I don't have the answers. I don't know the truth. So the being agnostic is the best way for me to like start to where I truly am at and try and learn and grow from there. And I also don't like feeling like the label of being LDS is what was defining me, because I'm my own individual person. I have my own spiritual beliefs. I have and they're growing. I'm constantly learning from other people's beliefs and adding to my own. And I really enjoy that. And I don't want to be, like attached to this expectation of what LDS is supposed to be and what people think I'm supposed to be, So I'm just kind of doing my own thing. I still go to church though, because I love spirituality. I don't know if it's necessarily religion that I like, but I love social aspects of meeting up with people and studying scriptures and just, trying to define what beliefs are and things like that. So I still love going to the LDS church. I love going to, any churches and just studying and learning with people. And so, yeah, that's where I'm at right now. And that's where I'm, the process of my spiritual journey. And who knows where we'll go from there. But I'll bring you guys along the ride with me, and we'll do our best to describe it and understand it and just go from there. So, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Okay, last comment. Todd does not journal. He says, I don't journal. I find hobbies like learning to play the piano. Oh, that would be cool. I've always wanted to learn an instrument. That's something I want to spend more time on. But see, no, everyone always has that excuse. I don't have enough time. I can find time. I'll make time for it. But what instrument, I feel like my favorite instruments is the guitar and the piano. Between those two, I want to decide one. A guitar is way easier to take with me, and I'm always moving around places, so maybe I'll start learning the guitar. That would be fun. But sweet, awesome. Well, thank you guys. Thanks everyone who participated, and hope to see you guys next week's live. So have a great week, and see you next time. Bye.